I'm working on a few different things at the moment. I'm working on this super large elephant drawing behind me. Maya's going to probably start eating her pellets now as soon as I start recording. Yeah. The second thing I'm working on, I don't know if I can do this while she's chewing. I think I'm going to have to come back. But this video is sponsored by Squarespace, but I'll tell you more about them later. So I'm working on a few things at the moment. One is this elephant drawing behind me. The other is a way of approaching my drawing practice, which going through this burnout and trying to figure out my relationship with work and trying to do it in a more sustainable way. That's become a whole project. I'm close to the end of the month and I was meant to have finished this drawing like weeks ago. It's really important that I get this work done, but my brain has other ideas. For some reason, I really need to make a chopping board, and not just any chopping board, but like an end grain chopping board with a really complex geometric pattern that requires like precision and a level of woodworking that I don't know if I possess. And underneath all of that is the third thing, which is trying to find a way of showing up to my drawing practice or to my work in a way that's sustainable and actually lands and leaves me with a feeling that I've been chasing for years, but I'll get to what that feeling is later. So there's this friction in my mind at the moment. There's a task that really matters to me and I just can't seem to bring myself to work on it. It's almost like the second I get close, the gears start to grind and I shift over to something else that feels a little bit more effortless or something that doesn't have the same pressure on it. But in there somewhere is an idea that's really interesting to me, and that is this idea of friction. Because friction isn't a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a property of any system that's actually moving. It's going to be there every single time. So the question stops being, how do I get rid of it? And starts becoming, what is my relationship to it? And that's the key. It's a sign of the process, not a sign of failure. Slowly the story starts changing. Instead of being a story about failing, about being lazy, about not being good enough, I start looking for that feeling of friction on purpose, because it's become the place where I get to practice, where I get to put a rep in. But here's the important part. A rep is not sitting down for 40 minutes and slipping into some state of flow, that glorious dream that seems to permanently evade us. A rep is gently leaning into friction, just lightly feeling it for a minute or two before rewarding myself by going down and cutting up my fingers on the chopping board. On a very practical level, a rep is as simple as just getting a few marks of pencil against the paper. And if the hurdle that we're facing is a bit bigger, if we haven't got our drawing set up or anything in place yet, then a rep is setting up the drawing table, getting the paper out, maybe cleaning the space to get it ready. But that's also exactly where the next trap is waiting for us, because friction is clever. It hides itself inside stories. I'll tell myself I can't start drawing right now because there's graphite all over the floor and I'm going to get my feet dirty. So I need to first clean, as if having graphite on my feet is some reason to actually not draw. Or maybe it's I can't start drawing now because I've got coffee in 10 minutes with a friend, and if I slip into a state of flow, then to try and pull myself out of that state of flow is really uncomfortable, and I might as well not start right now. And it sounds like these reasons are logical. It sounds like it's a perfectly good reason not to start, but it's also just friction looking for an alibi. And this is where the cutting board finally makes sense, why it was surprisingly important. The board was never really about the board. It was friction made visible. It's the elaborate, precise, slightly dangerous project my brain invented, so it would have somewhere to run that wasn't the drawing. And it felt productive. That's exactly what made it the perfect hiding place. The trick, I think, is to name the fear sitting underneath the story. And one of mine is pretty simple. I'm afraid of starting something only to be interrupted. It genuinely hurts to be in the middle of something and then have to pull myself out of it. I really don't like it. But here's what I keep forgetting. The task was never the drawing. It was never the finished video script. The task is to lean gently into the friction. And the moment that is the task, being interrupted after 2 minutes, while annoying, doesn't really cost me anything. I still came to the work, I did the rep, and I succeeded. This method I've been working on is just a change in metric, to stop scoring the session by how much progress I made or whether or not I found flow or how many hours I sat there, and to score it by one thing. Did I do a rep? Did I show up and lean in? The rest tends to follow on its own, and yes, there are techniques for the rest and they work. I've made a bunch of videos talking about maximizing focus and all of that, but a lot of them push such a heavy demand on the system that you start avoiding the starting altogether. And the starting, the willingness to come to the work at all, is a far more precious thing to protect than the time you spend in any single session. I've been trying to find a sustainable mindset for my practice for years. I've been chasing that feeling of comfort, that feeling of safety within my practice. I always assumed it was flow, but it isn't. It's more subtle and a lot more reliable. It's the feeling of trusting myself to show up, of being someone who comes to the work, even if it's the last thing I feel like doing. That's the thing the reps build, not the drawing, but the trust. So the elephant still isn't finished, and a few months ago I would have called that a failure. Today I'm just going to do the one thing the new metric asks me to come to my drawing and put down a single mark. There, that's a rep. That's the whole practice. And honestly, that's a win. So can I take a step today towards my practice that really means something? Yeah, I think I just did. This is a really small but really powerful tool for me right now, especially with how averse I am to big projects and stress as well, in this time of recovery. So I really hope that if anyone is going through something similar, that this can help. Before I end this video though, I'd love to give a huge thank you to this video sponsor, Squarespace. I've been working with them for a couple of years now, and they've played a huge role in my career, not only in sponsoring these videos and helping me maintain this channel, but early on in my career, I was looking for a way to showcase my work and make it easy for collectors to find me and get in touch with me. And I didn't have time to learn HTML and to try and build a beautiful, reliable website. But I found that Squarespace did all of that effortlessly. I never had to patch or upgrade anything. I could register a domain with them and set up an online store. And most importantly, I could design a portfolio and show my work the way that I wanted to. Also, every time I got stuck, their amazing support team helped me out instantly. So if you're looking at building a website, give Squarespace a try. And if you decide that you love them, use this offer code and get 10% off your first purchase. There we go. Like I said, this is a really small thing, but it has quite a massive change on the way that I've been approaching my work. And I really hope that it can help you guys too, or anyone who's in a similar boat. If you have any questions about some of the nuances of how I'm implementing this every day, or even just like questions about how I made the cutting board or whatever is going on, let me know in the comments. I'll try and answer them in the comments or in the next video, I'm not sure. But as always, thank you for the support. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.